So today we're going to be looking at a more recent comment left by Sharon, and this was in response to some user who commented on Sharon's latest video, the unreleased footage of Kenny's M Cave hike. This guy was just asking, I think he was called The Shape, was saying, hey, I'm really interested in the Kenny Veach mystery and case. I'm interested to try and solve, maybe debunk, analyse Kenny in this video, try and get to the bottom of it and see what's going on. And this is what Sharon has to say in response.
She says, yes, you are correct. He often pushed the limits. Part of it, I think, was about the thrill and adrenaline. And I also think just seeing if he could do it. We also did calm things. I started to list some of the calm, fun things we did, but then thought I would be taking some of the fun away from you with debunking and analysing the video. I look forward to your input of what you figure out. I'll let you know if you are spot on or just close or not close at all. Smiley face, smiley face. I'll be watching for your input. This is going to be fun. I hope I don't miss your post.
After reading the comment, Sharon's idiosyncratic tone of text used is questionable, to say the least. I mean, it kind of signifies some kind of big game of what? Hot or cold? I'll let you know if you're near, or I'll let you know if you're far away from the truth. That's what it sounds like. And you got to ask yourself, is that appropriate behaviour in the given situation between two strangers? I mean, it might make sense to an extent between friends, family, because you know each other, but from first-time impressions, from an external point of view, doesn't look promising, does it? And you got to remind yourself that Sharon is a part, or was a part, of the mental health profession, a certain field within it. You know, that sort of field of work requires certain abilities and understanding, respect, listening, etc., appropriate behaviour. And none of that seems to shine through in this case, in the comment section. And also, you got to remind yourself, this isn't the first time of such behaviour, because if we remind ourselves when Sharon said to Kenny at some point, don't pull a Robin Williams on me. I mean, is it really necessary? Does it really help? No. Now, let's just take a look back at Sharon's comment visually so I can give you my opinion on the rest of the language used by her.
So the part where Sharon talks about Kenny pushing himself to the limits, part of it being the thrill and adrenaline, but also seeing if he could do it. I mean, that comment in itself is far from the idea of Kenny being suicidal. Considering Sharon was the original person to come up with the idea of suicide, this seems far from it. Moreover, it implies Kenny is a determined individual who pushed his body to the limit to achieve certain targets and goals. Yes, you could argue that could have been the outcome of Kenny disappearing. He pushed himself too far. It endangered himself. But in terms of the suicidal outcome, that seems far from it, does it not? Now, the bit where she says, we also did fun, calm things, I assume that's something to do with maybe them meditating, maybe dancing, watching the sunset go down, I assume. Or they're talking about something completely different. Because then Sharon ends up going on saying, I started to list some of the fun, calm things we did. But then I thought I'd be taking some of the fun away from you with the debunking and analysing of this video. Okay. So what does these fun, calm activities have to do with a video of Kenny Veach all alone out in the desert? I think there is a possibility what she might be getting at is where she says, fun things we did, and if she's supposedly linking and applying that to the debunking and analysing of Kenny's unreleased footage, would that signify whatever's going on in that hike, Sharon was there with him? Because she's saying we do this in our own time, and this also has something to do with the video you're about to analyse. So is she a part of the video in some way? Do you understand what I'm getting at? So that is kind of interesting. It's almost like she's putting herself in the picture because she was to begin with. So is this some kind of mind games going on? Now, Where else are we? I look forward to your input of what you figure out. I'll let you know if you're on spot or close or not close at all, smiley face. Now, normally when people use an emoji, like a smiley face, upside down, tongue out, whatever, it's to signify a playful, maybe casual tone in informal settings and situations with people. That's what it tends to be. Now, additionally, when people use those type of emojis, they might be joking around, playing around, messing around, having fun. Now you got to ask yourself, is a situation like this of a missing person a fun time to be messing directly in response to this? I don't think so. Considering how Sharon was in the documentary, let's not forget that.
Most fun person I've ever spent time with, and everything I do I compare to what I did with him, and it falls just a little bit short.
And the final part of the comment where she says, this is going to be fun. Why fun?
So yeah, kind of interesting and strange too. Now it doesn't end there because a few people were obviously suspicious and replied to her in the comment thread. Now she did reply, and this is what she had to say based on that comment.
It's interesting to see how people read into things. My comment was purely to let the shape know I was looking forward to seeing his input to analyse this guy, Kenny, from his videos. Kenny loved to have fun, and so do I. Kenny used to roll his eyes and say, well, if it's not fun for Sharon, in a rather playful voice. And this is one of the reasons we had so many wonderful, playful times together. I'm still looking forward to the shape's comments on the analysis of Kenny from his videos. It's an interesting thing to do. Kenny and I spent 8 years together. I knew Kenny better than anyone else on the planet. He was not close to his family and did not talk much with them. He had one brother in town that he had not spoken with in almost 10 years. He was a unique individual. I will continue to miss him and be thankful for the time we spent together.
So from Sharon's response where she says, no, it's just interesting how people see and interpret stuff, and I'm interested as well to see what people come up with in terms of analysing and debunking stuff. Well, that's kind of typical of a psychologist. It doesn't apply all the time, but I would say, to an extent, psychologists are really interested in how the brain works, what functions and what causes dysfunctions, what's going on within. Not about the actual person themselves, but what's going on inside, and that's all. Tunnel vision behaviour. A deep interest into something for their own need, for their own pleasure, and not for how the other person is feeling at the time. Some people will show resistance at me saying that, but, it can happen, and it has happened. You see it with criminals, you see it with like school shooters, and you get all these people doing these videos. Oh my God, let's analyze this and really take into depth and account what's going on within the brain, the mechanisms, the dysfunctions, the functions, what's causing what, what's causing that. What about just the person themselves? Ask them how they're doing. No, we've got to focus right in. That's what it's kind of like. Now, with Sharon, it would make sense because if she's a part of the mental health field, that's what she'll be interested in, seeing what happened, why it happened, etc. But then you tie it in with, inappropriate behaviour. It makes you think, oh, where does this lie on the scale with her? So it's kind of up and down. Now, a key thing to take note of, there is a little bit of deflection within that comment. Because sure, she's saying, oh, no, I'm not meaning it in that way. No, I'm not trying to be suspicious without actually saying suspicious, that word. And then she cuts back into, well, anyway, to tie it in, add something in, link something which applies to what you're previously talking about to dampen it down so it links. It's not an abrupt change. It's not an abrupt form of deflection, but it is still a form of it by changing the subject slightly. Maybe keeping a certain theme there, but a slightly different subject. So at first it's talking about, yes, I want to see what you've got. let's play a game of hot and cold. Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. No, I'm just interested in how things work and how things process, because, you know, the way we were back then, we did the same exact thing. So that's the reason why I am the way I am, because we had really good times. And by the way, we actually did this. Oh, and by the way, we actually did that. And then we did that. And then we did this. And we went there and we went there. You've gone completely off subject then, haven't you? Trying to defuse the situation, trying to cause a little bit of, what, misdirection or something? Confuse someone? Throw them off? Yeah, there's been a bit of throwing off, hasn't there, over time? There's been a bit of misdirection over time in general in the mystery. You know, we want to start talking about analysations and looking deeper, and they enjoy that sort of stuff. Oh, God, shit, they'd have a field day with some of my videos then, wouldn't they? Field day. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Hopefully this video wasn't too short, too abrupt, and it made sense. There are other comments to look at, but they tie in with one another elsewhere to do with the search and the hike. So we'll get into that at a later point, but hopefully you enjoyed this video and understood it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Before I go, one thing I will mention, I don't know if I did earlier on in the video, there is a niche perspective you could look at it from, and that is Sharon is the way she is, just like how someone could be that sort of person to laugh at a funeral. They can't help it. Maybe it's nervous laughter, or maybe just laughing in awkward situations. You can't control it. It's just who you are. Maybe that's how Sharon is when it comes to certain situations. Maybe that playfulness or joking around, messing around is some kind of defense mechanism within the brain, some form of denial, some form of suppression or something, pushing certain thoughts to the back and reinforcing it with, you know, like a little cushion, a little shield, which comes in the form of acting inappropriately, well, to an extent, to kind of cut off those bad things. It's one way of looking at it. Is there really anything else to discuss in terms of that original comment? I mean, some people will just say, oh, well, it's only just analysing. Yeah, but yeah, there's been a lot of analysing over time and stuff, and things have been said, and you take into account all the forms of misdirection, misinformation. I mean, could this be another case, or could this be some kind of other form to throw people off? You know, there's all kinds of behaviour and language and wording and actions, unpredictable actions too, just to throw people off. All kinds of things can go on. And if she is in, you know, the mental health field, psychologist, whatever it may be, she may have an idea of how the mind works, or she knows how to play mind games, psychological warfare, because that's all to do with the brain, the mind, thinking, thought process, choosing the correct wording, acting in a certain way, whatever it may be. So a lot can go on, for sure. So yeah, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.